we've got something really different. We're going to talk about us and more specifically about a vision and a plan that Kristi Candle, my co-host, has. Kristi, how excited are you? A scale of 1 to 10.
I'm at about a 75. I am so excited right now, guys. Like I can't even hold myself back of everything that I've worked for my entire career coming together into this project. For the past couple of years, it felt like nothing has sparked my excitement, and holy cow, guys, I'm on fire. As someone said the other day, I'm sprinting a marathon. So you are not going to want to miss this. Come join us on the Real Estate Pessimist podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the truth about real estate investing.
The exciting truth. Join us.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pessimist podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the truth about real estate investing. I'm Kristi Candle, your co-host. I'm a real estate developer, investor, and I teach locals how to become developers in their own backyard. And we have a really fun topic today, but before we get into that, I am joined with my co-host, Erik.
Hey, yep, that's me. I'm a real estate investor myself, long-term and short-term rentals, and maybe development. We'll see. Kristi and I are talking about this. We've been talking a lot about this. So this show is different. We're going to talk about what we're up to, basically kind of the news of what we're doing, because you've got real estate friends, or maybe you don't, who are investing in this or that or the other, and you may be wondering, what's everybody else doing? Well, we don't know what everybody else is doing. We barely know what we're doing, but we know what we're interested in right now. And so Kristi is so stoked right now. If you don't know this, she is just on a path here. She's excited about it, and she's posting about it on her social media every day. So please find her. It's Kristi with a K, Candle with a K. Kristi, you put that in the show notes there so people can find you. But she's posting about this every day. Kristi, what are you excited about, and how did this vision take shape?
I am excited because we are building Southwest Florida's premier wellness destination. And what that means is this is a culmination of my entire career and every possible fun activity, relationship, collaboration that we have ever done. And the reason I'm so excited is, like most of you are probably feeling, you've been sitting on the sidelines going, why is this not penciling? This doesn't quite work. The margins aren't big enough to get me excited. I've got this, I have a lot of friends right now who we've built our initial portfolio, and it's like, okay, well, I don't need to do something. I want to do something, but nothing is quite checking that box, making me go forward. And I felt like I was in that limbo, underwriting a lot of stuff, somewhat interested in things. And when this idea came up, it was, So it goes way back to the very first time when I moved to Florida, and we played beach volleyball, and there were 3 volleyball courts outside of this hole in the wall bar and crappy bar food. And I remember thinking how much fun we had, and it could be done so much better. It could be done with better food, with more amenities and more things around it that really tied it together to where we weren't just coming to play volleyball and to drink beer. It was, we were there for an experience. We were there for good food. We were there for friends, for live music, for things like that. So it started way back then in the early 2000s. And what we are introducing today then it's evolved over time and is the culmination of my career. So I've been in real estate development for almost 20 years, started in Florida, went to California, understood the complexities, the red tape of development, helped bring all of these national tenants and other projects to life. And then, as you guys know, I then started Local Real Estate Developers in 2024 to help empower our locals to be the developers in their community. And through that, I also play all the sports. So beach volleyball, pickleball, every sport I'm in. But we recently ended up joining a league, and on Wednesday nights, we'll go down to South Naples and we will play beach volleyball. And I remember walking up to this facility and the light bulb went off. It was a sports facility that had a pro soccer team. It had all the outdoor like sports, baseball, beach volleyball courts, had a Great Wolf Lodge or something. But it was all disconnected. It didn't quite feel right. If we needed to go use the bathroom, if we wanted to grab a snack, if we wanted to grab a drink, it felt clunky and it wasn't quite there. And that's when we realized, wait, we've been talking about a great place for us to gather as community members and to hang out and to build deeper relationships to where we're not just going somewhere to eat or grab a drink, but we're going to be active and to build community. And that's where this whole idea came from. So, and that's how it came to be. And what it really is the overall vision is that it's 8 to 10 acres that we're going to purchase in Southwest Florida. So anywhere from Lee County down to Fort Myers, down to Naples. And we're going to make it a whole multi-sport wellness and entertainment center. So it'll have a combination of sports for active people. It'll have wellness for Pilates and yoga and meditation and stretching and healing and things like that. It will have a dog park with a beer and wine garden. It will have a trail that goes around the complex that is for walking, and eventually it'll have a people mover and a trolley that takes people around. We'll have a food hall that allows us to have awesome local cuisine and people to where it'll almost be commercial pods to where we can get local chefs to come in and have theme nights of the week, and they can share their specialty, and that attracts the interest to then have the community go to their actual locations. And we'll have live events and music and outdoor games and a kids center, and really just something to where when you come there, you're coming for the full experience. You're coming and you could spend the whole day there if you wanted, but it's a place where it's not a place we're working. It's not just a place that we're sleeping. It's not a place that we're playing. It's a place we can come together as a community and meet people and really grow strong relationships and bonds. Yeah, that is why I'm so stoked. And the other facet of that is, yes, this is a cool asset and a cool product for the community, but it's who I get to do this with that is even more awesome. And so we've got three main people. So there's three of us ladies who are putting this together, but it's going to take a village to go. And it's just so fun because every single day we get one more dot to connect to go, we need this component. Boom, we've got this person and this person. And we share the idea and they're like, hell yeah, I'm in. And it just keeps growing from there. So it's in the early stages, but like you said, we are posting about it daily because we want to build that local momentum and enthusiasm and excitement and share the whole process, not even from the time we found the dirt because we don't have that yet, but share it from how do we even go about getting to that point.
So this is it's a lot of the things, like you said, that you have done before that are being woven together, because in one sense, it's real estate. Mm-hmm. You have to own the dirt to do this. And then you have to be able to do the things you want to on it. There's the permitting, there's the zoning, there's all of that stuff. There's the horizontal development and infrastructure that you're going to need to do that, which your past experience is going to be important on. But there's another dimension to this that's entirely different and at the same time not, and that is community. Mm-hmm. We've talked before about community. We had a podcast on that and why it's so important. In case you missed that, this is why it's important. It's because when you're putting together a project like this, there are so many dimensions to it that one person cannot do it all. Mm-hmm. And frankly, if you have one person doing it all, it's either not going to work or it's going to be pretty simple. Because to make it amazing, you need the best of the best. And the way you get connected with the best of the best is by community, as it's by knowing these things. And it's the opportunity to make something new that didn't exist before. That's one of the dimensions of real estate investing. You can buy a thing that somebody else is done with, and now it's your turn, and you can rent it out just as it is, turnkey. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You can buy it and fix it up a little bit. Okay, that's all right too. You buy and fix it up and keep it, refinance it, and all the burr, you could do that. You could keep it up and totally buy it and totally renovate it. Or you can buy the dirt and hold the dirt. We did a podcast on that too. The Deatons, they're flipping dirt, for income, and they never build anything on it at all. That's one way to do it. So there's so many ways to do this that you've entered the inventing phase, not just the
the creativity phase. And I joke, but I'm serious that I can do development in my sleep. And that just means that it doesn't excite me anymore. There's very rarely a project that piques my interest that I go is going to be complex enough and is going to be fun enough and is going to want me to stay in it for the 3 to 5 years that it's going to take to do. And when I think about this project, what I love is that it is so complex that I can't do it myself. And I love that fact. I know how to get the right people and how to pull the right pieces. I don't know exactly how that's going to end up looking, but I know how to pull the team together. And I know I have the people in my network. One of the things that my partners keep telling me, they're like, girl, your network is wild. Like you literally have someone for every little facet. And it's because I've also been intentional about who I surround myself with and who I pull in. And I've said to so many people over the years, you're awesome people. I don't know where life is going to take us or how this will work in the future, but you're someone I want to do something with someday. And I will be intentional about bringing them in and making sure I don't just talk to them in 2018 and then again in 2025. By the way, what do you do? No, I stay involved in their life and I make sure I'm touching base periodically. And I literally have a whole system for how I do that to make sure that they don't get forgotten and that we do stay in each other's lives. So I love every aspect of this. And what can happen with a project like this is that it will be phased in to where we will do the lowest cost things first and build it up. And it will create other opportunities outside of just the phases of this project for developing the areas around it. Hey, can we talk business for a second? If you've been flipping houses or running short-term rentals, you already know how to hustle. You know how to spot opportunity, add value, and make a property work harder. But if we're being honest, flipping gets exhausting, and short-term rentals are definitely not passive. So what's next? For a lot of people I work with, the answer is real estate development. I'm talking about turning a vacant lot into a quadplex, or bringing a rundown building back to life as a mixed-use space. I'm Kristi Candle, and I've been a real estate developer my entire career. And now I host the Local Real Estate Developer podcast to help locals like you do the same. We pull back the curtain and show you what it takes to go from flipper or host to local developer. If you're ready to build something bigger, this podcast is for you. Check out the Local Real Estate Developer podcast on all platforms. But even from a funding standpoint, it's like, okay, well, the project will take $20 to $40 million to do. And that means part of that will be debt, part of that will be equity and investors. And yeah, we could go to a handful of people and get a couple $1,000,000 from them and go, okay, well, we've got 10 investors and we're running the show. Or we could do what we've been working on creating with local real estate developers, and we can put into play our local community REIT, where we allow the community to become investors into the deal. So now they're not just watching us and coming along on the story, but they can invest $500, $5,000, and they can be part of the structure that funds the deal to make it happen. And then that is, again, development not happening to a community, it's development happening for and with a community. You can only imagine from there what happens as you build that synergy and alignment and bring everyone along with you. And those are the parts that really, really, really get me excited.
All right. So tell me where, and you mentioned, I think briefly, that you don't have the land right now. Mm-hmm. Do you have blueprints? Do you have a full, 3D rendering of this thing? You're just looking for the land to put it on? Where are you in the process?
Yeah, we are super early in the process. And there's two schools of thought. You can not talk about something until it's done and then open it and go, hey, here we're at. Or you can bring people along on the journey. And part of that is, I know how to get there. And part of it is being accountable. Part of it is building excitement. It's like, let's bring people from the very beginning and the whole thought process of what happens behind the scenes before a shovel ever goes in the ground. We are at the stage where we've done a lot of, it's honestly probably only been 2 weeks into it, and the amount of action and movement that has happened is incredible. But we've, from different partnerships from both development teams and operation sides, tons of conversations, and every conversation leads to something else. And at the same time, we're working with the city. So we know the general area that we want to be in. We want to be in Lee and Collier counties, and it could be the counties, it could be the cities. We know the general footprint. We've done initial zoning information and worked with the planning departments. And now, because of this idea and what we're looking at, we're going in and we're having pre-application meetings with each of the cities or counties that we want to potentially put it in. What we're going to do with that is what I've done on other custom atypical projects, is we're going to reverse engineer how we find the dirt. By going in and working with the communities first, instead of saying, hey, I bought this land, I'm going to do this here, how do we make it happen? And it doesn't work for anyone and you're forcing it the whole way. It's, let's go in and let's collaborate with these communities from the start and get them excited and see where could we put it and make sure we have their buy-in. Because by that, now we're not going to fight the cities and counties that we're going into. Now we're going to work together with them. Potentially they could help us by saying they could get different grants, or maybe we'll create a little friendly competition and Lee and Collier counties will fight over which one gets our facility because we got them so excited. And now they're going to pony up and say, well, we'll help you extend utilities like water and sewer. We'll help you build roads. We'll get grants for this and that because we want your tax dollars. We want to be able to claim that we're the one who did that. So, there's a little bit of that too, but it starts with building relationships within those jurisdictions, telling them the story and bringing them along. And then once they give us general areas or zoning and we reverse engineer it, we're literally going to find those areas on the zoning map and then find the property owners and start calling the property owners and going, who's willing to sell, and work it from that angle.
So this is kind of the unfolding of all of our podcast episodes. It's kind of like wax on, wax off, and then all of a sudden now you find out, oh, that's what that's about. And not that you've been doing this only as long as we've been podcasting, but it's putting all these pieces together for real. And what Kristi's talking about here is true. We had this happen in our county. A real estate developer wanted to put in an arena, and he went to a neighboring county and said, I want to do this, 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 and this, and sounded like it was going to work. Now, I'm a little fuzzy on the details on this thing, but the general picture is true. And this is recent. This is happening now, as they went to one neighboring county and thought it was going to move forward in their county. And they apparently threw some things up there that the developer said no, and went to the neighboring county, my county, and our city council said, absolutely, yes, let's do it. And not only are they like, okay, we'll show you some things, they're buying billboards to promote this new thing. They are putting out social media to promote this thing. Why? Now you may ask, like, why would a community want this? Why would a local government want development? I thought governments were against development. Well, governments are against development of things they don't want, and they are for things that they do want. So if you are bringing a community something that they want, whether that is multifamily or whether that is industrial or storage or whatever it is, they're your ally. They're your asset. They're there to help you get this done. That's why she's saying, hey, we got this product here with this thing we'd like to develop. Where do you see that in your plans? And it may be that one of these counties like, awesome, like we've been hoping that this would happen, but now someone else is going to develop basically our community center for us, a rec center. We don't have to do it ourselves, but because it's private enterprise, we get to collect taxes off of this, and they're going to create employment off of this. And that's why a local community wants to see things like this move forward. But what she's doing, she's checking because the timing may be off. One county may say, we totally want to do that, but we see that 6 to 8 years out. And another one may say, actually, we just had a deal fall through and, oh my goodness, do you want to take this over? That happened to me on a short-term rental. We were looking around. We had some very, very, very specific buy boxes. And it turns out somebody dropped out at the last literally 30 days of a custom build. And we said, yes, we will come in and take this across the finish line. But you've just got to check. And it starts with relationships. I am co-host of this podcast because education is my calling. That's also why I developed a course on short-term rentals. It's called STR in an Hour, and it's perfect for busy professionals. It's a lot of content packed into 1 hour. No fluff, no upsell. It's an overview of STRs from A to Z. Everything from how to choose a property to how to estimate income and expenses. It's literally the best and most content I could pack into 59 minutes. With over 4,000 nightly stays in my own STRs, I've learned important lessons, and I want to share them with you. Link with more information in the show notes. And it goes through dreaming. What do I want to do? And sometimes, and this is a thing we don't often talk about, patience. And that because almost all the podcasts and all of the social media gurus want you to what? Take action now. Take massive action now. Get going now. Not a lot of people preach patience. It's figuring out, what do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? Maybe you wait for the right time, season, things to happen. And then when it happens, you move forward. And Kristi, she's moving forward right now on this. It's
in that case, that's where it has all come together and it has aligned. And when it's go time, then we're sprinting. And someone's like, you're sprinting a marathon right now. You're damn right I am. We are sprinting a marathon and having a heck of a lot of fun along the way. And it's like there's different pieces that'll come together. And I just want to yell and run around the room. And then I keep reminding myself, never too high, never too low. This too shall pass. As good as it is and as much alignment is happening, There are going to be death blows. I tell everyone, your development project will literally blow up 3 to 5 times throughout the project. So
At some
ours is
point.
going to blow up 3 to 5 times, and we're going to be sitting there with our head in our hands going, oh my gosh, what just happened? How much money is sunk? How many, like how do we get this back on track? I guarantee you we are going to go through that spot. And you know what? We're going to embrace those hard times. We're going to come together as partners and team members, and we're going to find a solution forward. And that's only going to bring us closer together as a team as a result.
And this is why we talk about. Yeah, that's right. And that's why we talk about this on the Real Estate Pessimist podcast. And we're going to stay in touch on this project and this process as it goes, because there will be those things that happen. You know, it'll turn out that somewhere, someone will have made an oversight. Actually, we got to put a new substation in to put that much electricity down there. We didn't think about that. And so we're going to have to blah, blah, blah. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, those things are going to happen. And that is why we talk about the good, the bad, and the truth about real estate investing on this show. And we want to take you along on the journey. I'm going to go on the journey. Will I be part of it? Will I have a seat on the bus? I don't know. We're watching for the right space, the right time for that. And we're having the patience and not worried about it when we don't see it right now. No?
Well, and that's a good point. So other people will say, you know, well, how's this going to be structured? And yes, there's a development entity structure, there's an operations entity structure, and those are the frameworks. But exactly what splits and how much money is everyone going to make? To some extent, I am telling people, you just have to trust me that this is going to be more than completely fair. But we are way too early to try and define that and put ourselves in a box that then stops something really great from happening. But that's the trust that I've built in the relationships with the people that I'm bringing in, to where they can trust and they can know that we are doing this together. That part is super fun, but let's dive into what's happening in Erik's world. What are you guys up to these days?
My world is nothing nearly as exciting. We are playing the waiting game with the properties in Maui. The short-term rentals legislation's still up in the air. We don't know which way that's going to go, so we're waiting to see what happens on that. And ironically, if it goes badly and they do pass legislation banning vacation rentals in a vacation destination that have been legal for 45 years, then maybe waiting is our best course of action. And if it gets voted down, maybe waiting is our best course of action. If it gets voted in, maybe selling immediately is our best course of action. If it doesn't get moved, maybe selling is we don't know. So we're waiting and watching on that. With other things, we are watching other markets. We are looking at possible development of a short-term rental small community. That's definitely to be determined, but doing homework, doing research on that, talking to people, because as Kristi's talking about, this is the network. Now, when you're talking about buying a single-family home, like our first one, we didn't have to have connections really anywhere. We just had to know, is it legal? Can we afford it? Let's do it. Right? But that's about all there was to it. But when we're talking about bigger projects, there are more players involved. And that's not a bad thing. It's sharing the load. Is it a marathon sprint, like Kristi is saying? Kind of. But it's also kind of more like a relay, where it's like, okay, now it's your turn to sprint, and I'm going to catch my breath. And when it comes back around again, it'll be my turn to run again, and we'll hand it to someone else. So we're looking at development possibilities there, finding the right location and the right space. We don't know. So our movement right now is a lot of just waiting. It's waiting and seeing. We're not waiting for the sky to fall. I am actively doing research, digging in data. We did an episode recently on data, good news, bad news, how to dig into stuff. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of that. As soon as we get done on this, there's a local municipality I'm going to call and ask about their tourism flow. What's their volume look like? What's going on? What direction do they want to take their community? And that will steer some of the choices that I make going forward, which is funny because years ago, calling the local government was definitely not a thing on my list to do. As I'm just talking to real estate agents, I'm like, what's my return on investment? Okay, go. Now, my course forward will always involve communication with the local government. It just always will, because in a sense, I'm playing my game on their game board. And if they change the rules on their game board, that impacts me. And that's why over and over, Kristi's talking about working with municipalities. I'm coming to that understanding myself, this is a big deal. I got a call from a government official just as we were starting a podcast not too long ago, and finding out, like, because guess what? That's their game board. That's their board, and they make the rules. They change the rules from when I bought, but guess what? That's just what I have to deal with. And so I'm starting now with government officials and the community desires. What direction do they want things to go? So that's what I'm doing right now. We don't have anything major going on. Thank goodness we don't have any major disasters happening to talk about on the Real Estate Pessimist podcast. But we don't have anything that's amazing coming together either. But, and this is the unsexy truth, it is the middle. I am right now in the middle. One of my favorite books is called Mastery, and I can probably see it from here. I want to get the right author. I'll have to look that up. But basically, it is the boring middle of anything that is where the growth happens. It looks like it's a plateau. It looks like there's nothing going on. Kristi's in lots of masterminds and talking to lots of people and traveling to lots of places and having lots of conversations and brainstorms. And people like, you're just talking. That doesn't look like much is happening. It doesn't look like much is happening.
And it's truly not at that time. But what you are gathering is you're gathering information, you're gathering people, you're gathering knowledge. You're, well, also not making a move just to make a move.
Right. And that's important. And I just thought it's George Leonard, his book, Mastery. And he's a martial arts instructor. I don't know how many degree black belt that he is. It basically talks about the boring middle of practice. You're not making that super big leap forward in quality, but it's those small incremental things. It's like James Clear talks about this. He says, look, if you've got an ice cube and it's not melting and you look at that and think, well, nothing's happening. And the temperature is 27 degrees. You say, well, nothing's happening. And then it goes to 28 degrees. Nothing's happening. 29, 30, 31. It looks like nothing is happening, but actually the temperature change of ice matters. And when you go from 31 to 32, you start, yeah, that's interesting. And then you go just to 33, all of a sudden it melts. And you think that the only difference was going from 32 to 33, but it wasn't. It was that slow warm up the whole time that was making the difference. And so if you're in your real estate journey and you're in that waiting time, I don't mean waiting by sitting on your hands. I mean, you just might not have a deal happening right now. Are you making connections? Are you studying the data? Are you reading books? Are you in community? Are you looking at inspirational material? Are you getting your mindset in the right place? All of these things make a difference because it wasn't the last. But anyways, there was a time, one of the properties is that we heard about it in the morning and we had to make an offer within 24 hours. That was it. From oh, by the way, here's an out-of-state deal to write an offer. Had to be done in 24 hours. Now, if we had started that race from a dead stop, there's no way. No way we could have done it. But we were already rolling. We already had a lot of momentum. And then somebody just said, hey, can you redirect that just a little bit over this direction? We said, yes, actually we can. And we did. We made it work. So that's kind of the season for me right now. There'll be something that'll happen, no doubt, good or bad. But as Kristi was talking about, there'll be something. But for now, that's what we are. That's what we're doing. And I will invite you to follow Kristi and this story of the development, because you'll see how the pieces start to come together on a thing like this. There's the mindset, there's the networking, there's the working with the government, there's working with local governments, there's working with, okay, so you got to figure out about employing people. All right, what kind of business structure are we going to have? There's all of these things that are going to happen. It's going to be a fun story to watch unfold. However it unfolds, it's going to be interesting and you can learn from it. And I invite you to follow.
Well, as always, guys, thank you for listening to the Real Estate Pessimist podcast. If you could do us a huge favor and like and subscribe and share this, it expands our reach and it allows us to get out to more people like you, to where we can help show you that there is community together, there is community around you, and that we are all going through it at different phases, at different times. And just keep going. This is the Real Estate Pessimist podcast, and we can't wait to see you next time.